2, and 1.
Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime. Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
Jimmy, you're not dancing.
Everybody,
Come on, Jimmy.
Join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime. Everybody, join the club. It's the Club World Cup on Footy Prime.
I don't know why. That's the best song ever. It's amazing.
Love it.
I played it yesterday. I didn't find it as funny. I liked it. Something about today. Maybe because we're like the second pod in and we're kind of
a little more comfortable.
Illusion. Kind of, yeah, exactly. Maybe
A little bit more comfortable. What are we on our regular pods? I think we're pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable. Yeah. Not last Thursday. Anyway, it's the Club World Cup special mini pod.
Day 2.
Dudes. Yeah, part 2.
Who knows? It could turn into a maxi pod with wings.
Oh, just stop. No. You and your friend Carrie of the Footy Prime Supporters Club had a lot of fun with that, didn't you?
A lot of content to absorb, Sharms.
Maxi mini pod. You know, I set you guys up. I knew this was where it was going, right?
Yep.
And I knew Dubs and Carrie most probably would get into it, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Yep. Very predictable.
Leaving little crumbs, right?
Yeah.
That's Amy Walsh, that's Dan Wong, that's Jimmy Brennan. I'm James Sharman. No Craig Forrest today, but we are a weekend into the World Cup. Some 0-0s, some big scoring goals. But the thing that stood out to me so far, and me and Wong were just talking about this. Mm-hmm. Some great goals, some great goalkeeping as well. Decent crowds. It's the trophy. That is some trophy that actually can change shape and form into other stuff. And there's a key.
What's the key?
That apparently only Gianni Infantino is allowed to use.
Pretty
That's
cool.
more than a trophy, right, Dubs?
I bet Salt Bay has the key, Sharms. You think Salt Bay has the key?
Oh,
And he opens it like that.
Is he around still? Salt Bay?
No, Salt Bay's fallen. His restaurants have closed.
Oh,
he had I just watched a whole I went down a Salt Bay YouTube breakdown yesterday, and I don't know why, but it got fed to me. He was stealing tips supposedly. Allegedly, taking tips from his wait staff, and so they complained about it, and then he fired them straight out, and that went on social, and now his restaurants are starting to fall.
Okay,
that's what happens when you touch a World Cup when you don't deserve it.
You're right.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So no Salt Bay at this Club World Cup. That's too bad. Just to put up with I Show Speed instead. He's everywhere right now.
Well, I was going to say though that there's always like a Gianni Infantino mascot that he believes is culturally relevant in order to try to leverage that and find more space in that zeitgeist for the Club World Cup.
And that's I Show Speed right now.
Yeah, he's the new Salt Bay. Did you see? We were tagged in something. He was granted permission to be FIFA president for 1 minute by Infantino.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. If you could be FIFA president for 1 minute, what would you do? Think about that.
Create equity for the women's game. Done.
That's a pretty good one, actually. I can't even respond with a sassy one-liner. that's come on. Nothing serious or important. You got 1 minute, Dubs.
12 more wishes.
Wait, Jimmy, what would you do? We got 1 minute as FIFA president.
What would I do? I would change a rule. For 1 minute, I would change a rule in the game.
But the rule would be that change would be permanent, or it would only be for 1 minute?
No, it would be documented that this rule would stay in forever. It would be called the Jimmy rule.
Okay, what is it? What is it?
I don't know what the rule would be, but I would just make some rule up.
Think about it in the next 10, 15 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
And then I want to have, by the end of the show, I want to know what the Jimmy rule is.
Yeah. Or maybe it would be on a corner kick, you were allowed to spike the ball like in volleyball.
Oh, like with your hand. You can score with your hand.
In the penalty box, yeah.
Oh, handball is allowed in the box.
Yeah.
Love it.
It'd be something ridiculous that I would add in.
I mean, it was allowed in 86, right?
There we go.
Right, then they changed it. My, if I had 1 minute, I would probably actually take the World Cup away from Argentina in 86.
Oh, hand of God.
They'd replay the quarterfinal onwards with no Argentina.
Yeah, but with the same players.
Same players. Yeah.
Skeleton of Maradona or his ashes in the corner.
Yeah.
He's always offside, ref.
That'd be a fun little segment, actually. We look at, say, 86 World Cup, the final or semi-finals. Look at all the teams and who's still standing, who's around, and who would win a game if they played it today. Who's aged the best out of these teams? Interesting. But we won't do it right now.
No.
This is about the Club World Cup. But the trophy cups. Yes, the trophy. Yes.
Produced in collaboration with global luxury jeweler Tiffany & Co., a brand renowned for crafting some of the most iconic trophies in sports. Their latest creation lives up to the legacy, offering a blend of elegance, symbolism, and technological intrigue. Pretty cool.
Technological intrigue?
24 karat gold and features laser engraved details on both sides.
It is nice.
Wow.
You can't criticize that trophy.
Why
It's a
does it
good
need a
trophy.
fucking key?
It's a technological intrigue.
Gold member had a key.
Yeah. So nice.
$1 million. Now
it's
just getting
a
1
keeper.
million.
It's a keeper.
Oh god, we're like 6 minutes into this already, and we haven't talked about the games or anything. But yeah, the nice trophy. I like it, but maybe overly complicated by a key. But I think it looks nice, and like I said, it changes shape. So I wonder when they hand it over to the winning team, what shape will it be? Is there a handover shape? At what point do you? I don't know. I haven't done enough research on this.
Shape of corruption.
Yes, you're going to really help our future here, aren't you, Dubs? Thank you. What do you make of the game so far? Right? Let's okay. So we got a 10-goaler on the weekend. Craig picked 3-1 for that game, by the way.
But he
said no, because I did
defense,
listen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
Didn't
see
he say
5.
Yeah, 5. Right.
Yeah. After saying 3-1, I said the over/under should be 5. That's
right.
If you're Bayern Munich and it's anything less than 5, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
And it was 10. But Harry Kane didn't score one of them. How does Bayern Munich, Jimmy, score 10 goals and Harry Kane not score 1?
Oh, it was like a training game at times, wasn't it? I don't know if you guys saw it on TSN last night, and they were talking about all the players and what their jobs were. And as they were showing the highlights, they would freeze it and be like, this guy, something Davis, he drives a forklift. And then it showed like a guy blocking a shot, and it paused it and would say, he's a realtor. It was brilliant. And then they had one shot and it said like, he's a security guard.
Brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
If 10-0 is not bad, is it? 10-0, no. I think they'd take that, wouldn't you? If you're Auckland City FC, you're playing Bayern Munich.
But some players couldn't go because they couldn't get off work.
Yeah.
Like imagine going into the office and seeing the boss and like, hey boss, listen, I've got to go play again. I'm playing Bayern Munich. You're who? Yeah, okay. Beat it. Go back to work. Yeah, sure you're playing.
Well, you're
Bayern
in New
Munich.
Zealand, right? Probably your boss is probably a rugby fan and hates soccer.
Yeah.
Right. So nah, you're not going there, mate. No chance. But I'm playing Bayern Munich, Gov. Nah. Sorry.
Not a chance.
Harry Kane and Jamal Musiala and Thomas Müller. You know, these. No. I need you. You know, we got it's inventory day next Wednesday. We need you driving that forklift.
but Jimmy, I missed that on TSN, but I shared this in a dark web. It was Paul Watson on Twitter, and he said there should be a return leg where Bayern have to do Auckland City's jobs. Let's get Vincent Kompany performing a root canal and Harry Kane giving a haircut and see if Bayern still look comfortable and in control. Terrific. Let's turn the tables.
That's amazing. I thought the goalkeeper actually made some big saves. Connor Tracy, his name is. Made some big saves. And he did also just give the ball away, trying to play it out from the back. And that's what this team does. This team's in New Zealand, they're a very, very good team, obviously. But they are fully amateur. But they do dominate. And I thought Connor Tracy did try really, really hard. And that's the most important thing. And they're kind of known from what I read about New Zealand football, they're known for possession-based football and playing the ball out from the back, but they refuse to adapt when they're playing Bayern Munich.
I mean, we're talking about what should be like the the crowning achievement or like their best qualities, and you're like, they're trying really hard, you're probably not in good stead to be having impactful performances at the Club World Cup. But for me, what I pull from this is that I think the double-digit scoreline is surprising. I thought that Bayern would likely roll. You have your big names show up, Musiala with the hat trick, and they just looked utterly dominant on the day. But is this kind of foreshadowing for results that can be expected next year with the expanded World Cup? Right? We talked about it with the Women's World Cup. As you expand the field, is it too soon? Is it too quick? Is it, I mean, Claire Rustad of broadcast fame, Dr. Claire Rustad, and also women's national team fame, says that the 32-team World Cup is the sweet spot for math. And I'm not a math person, but you go anywhere beyond that, and it's a lot of games, right? But I mean, I think you're going to see more and more score lines like this, where it's going to be lopsided with the haves and have-nots for on international football.
Well, they're talking about making this tournament 48 teams. Maybe next time out.
They need to have a qualifying stage, though.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
You have to. I mean, look, when you look at Auckland, they'll probably regroup and look at how they played, and probably looking at Benfica and Boca Juniors, they'll get something.
They're going to try really, really hard.
Yeah. I think, but I don't think there's one Auckland player who will be upset today. I mean, think about it. These are guys that love their football. They love it, and they're decent club football players, obviously, and they got the chance to play on this stage against that team. You'll never forget that. It could have been 20-0, and this has been a worthwhile experience for them. I think whether it's right for the tournament, that's a different conversation. But for them as players, my God.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, Sharms, if you want to look back and think, we gave it a go. Now, if they come away from this tournament and don't score one goal and concede 30, you're going down in history for the wrong reason.
But they're still okay with it because they walk away with like $17 million for having participated.
Oh, and I think half of it goes to the league, the domestic league, but they still pocket a ton themselves.
Yeah.
Changes their clubs. Well, they're now sustainable forever, aren't they? If they do it right.
You still don't want to be embarrassed, though. And 10-0 is you're embarrassed.
Well, they're also in what is it? Benfica and Boca Juniors? Like, there's it's going to be who doesn't score 10 goals.
Yeah, but but one of these guys on the show, Dubs and Jimmy, don't understand because they're professional footballers. They're top level footballers, right? I was the rank amateur, right? If you told me that I could play against a top team in the world, a story club, and lose 20-0, I'll be like, I'll take it.
Who'd you tackle again in the charity game?
Paul Stalteri.
That's
my
Yes. So you've proven yourself, Sharms.
Well, I never played soccer at any kind of level. I played rugby, club rugby. If you told me that I could have played one of the top, they would have killed me. Actually, physically killed me. Maybe it's a bad example, but the chance to play against, I played charity soccer matches against professional players, who like Jonathan de Guzman, Julian de Guzman, these kind of guys who were just playing a different sport entirely, and it was so cool as a football fan. So trust me, as an amateur footballer, the chance to play against your idols it's not embarrassing. I don't think.
Do you know what, Sharms? I remember watching you in a charity game, and you came out with shin pads that looked like you were.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That wasn't me. I never wore shin pads. That's bullshit. People did. Lots of people did that week. I could mention. I never wear shin pads. Thank you, Jim. You prick.
if anyone's listening and thinking, why is this a review show of the Club World Cup? And just remember that this is Footy Prime review show of the Club World Cup.
Yes.
We don't have to qualify our content.
Oh, I
Dan
do.
Wong.
Sometimes if it's a first time listener.
Well, listen, Craig and I went over the Inter Miami Al Ahly game in some depth yesterday. PSG looked really good again, beating Atletico Madrid 4-0. They look very impressive. I mean, the last two games I've seen them play, my God, team to beat in this tournament. Porto Palmeiras 0-0, but again, not a bad 0-0. And Botafogo Seattle. I didn't see this one, Jimmy. You did? You watched it last night.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really, really good game. I think part of the FIFA Club World Cup that I like is that you get to see a lot of the transfer targets, and you get to see a lot of teams that you never get to watch, right? And so Botafogo, there's 3 players on the team that Nottingham Forest are interested in, and apparently bids are going to be going in for Igor Jesus, Jair Cunha, and Cuabano, the left back. So they want a striker, center back, and left back from Botafogo. So I got to watch them last night, and Jesus and Cunha both scored, and they looked terrific, really. And it was a great match. It was really good football, and I like it because all these games are completely different styles. Mm-hmm. So you got a Brazilian football against MLS, and just the way that they were playing, their movement, how they attacked, how they defended. It was so interesting to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And Botafogo came away winning the match 2-1. And it was a great crowd in Seattle as well. So, yeah, entertaining match, that's for sure.
Well, later today, Boca against Benfica. That's a fascinating game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Benfica, a very, very strong European team against the great Boca Juniors of Argentina. Those kind of matches I find compelling for that reason, because you're not going to see them otherwise, other than friendlies in the summertime, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Chelsea LAFC too today.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which I'm actually, and I was thinking, I was reading some of the, I watched the highlights off the Seattle Sounders match, and I was just, Seattle's 14th in MLS right now. It's not their greatest year, so they put it in a performance against who was it against? Sorry, Jimmy.
Botafogo.
Yeah. And then the other one that was interesting to me was Palmeiras and FC Porto. Yeah. And the keeper for Porto kept that game 0-0. It was a really interesting game. And I always liked the whole colonial aspect of that, where, the Portuguese versus the Brazilians. And, it's one of those things that I always go, I wonder how they feel. It's like when Canada plays, England or France. It's kind of it's a little more, got a little more juice in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, listen, I think we're going to go into this tournament as well. I think the fan bases are going to appreciate it because it is interesting. There's noise around this tournament. We understand that. We discussed that last week. But I'm looking forward to some of these games, that's for sure. And it will only get better and better as it progresses. So that's the Club World Cup. You can find that on DAZN. You can watch every FIFA Club World Cup game free on DAZN. Sign up right now. We'll be back tomorrow with another look back, perhaps, and look ahead, and wherever you want to go. You can leave us some comments too. Yeah, we'll get to them in this show about whatever you like from or don't like from the FIFA Club World Cup. I want your thoughts on the trophy. And does it need a key? Does it really need a key? It's Footy Prime. Bye.
I think they workshopped like a locker combination setup, but they went with the key instead.
Yeah.